Medical Fellowship. We want to say from ICMFL, Merry Christmas and Happy Prosperous New Year. We wish that you're going to pay attention to basic things that are going to keep you safe, no matter where you are, no matter situations you're faced with right now. It may not be the kind of conditions you wanted to find yourself in to end 2021, but we just want to encourage you that whether you are in a hospital, whether you are on a hospital bed or in an ICU, whatever your health condition is, no matter where you are personally, we want to say that we remember you in prayer and your conditions is permanent. God is with you. Please, even on your sick bed, remember you need to take advantage of that moment and don't allow your condition, whether sickness, whether basic schedule as a doctor or a nurse, maybe you probably be on duty on Christmas or New Year Day. Stay, enjoy that moment and appreciate God that you are alive despite all of the challenges in 2021, but you are alive and you were able to complete this year. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year from ICMFL. God bless you.
Hi, my name is Dr. Eleno Anante of the International Christian Medical Fellowship in the beautiful city, Accra, Ghana. That is to say, Happy New Year to you. May this festive season bring all the goodness, peace, joy, success, and all the good things we pray. A Happy New Year to you and your family. Shalom.
Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Victoria Maniele. I'm currently in China and I'm part of the International Christian Medical Fellowship, and I would like to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year 2022. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. I wish you all a very happy holiday. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Dr. Faustin. I am sending this video all the way from China. I just want to wish you and your family a Happy New Year 2022. I wish you health, blessing, and everything in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. It's always a pleasure to have you in our chat, to have you in our meetings, and we want to use this time or this very good season to wish you and your family a very good time. Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, my name is D. Naomi Flumo, Prayer Coordinator of ICMFL. As we enter into the new year 2022, remember that every end marks a new beginning. Keep your spirit and determination unshaken, and you shall always walk in great victory. With courage, faith, and great effort, you shall achieve everything you desire. May the Lord give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. I wish you a happy and a prosperous new year. Happy New Year!
Good evening from my end in China. Happy New Year to every one of you. Happy 2022. We want to bless God. We are here. We are alive. It's 2022. Happy New Year. 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 Happy New Year to all of you. You're welcome to inspiration with Dr. Bala and uh, first day of the year in 2022. So today's inspiration is quite different and unique. So starting the new year, especially professional people that are very busy. You have careers, you have families, you have children to also cater to. And there is this gap in parenting and all of that, different uh, how we go about taking care of our kids and also paying attention to our career. So this New Year Day, we decided to have. I decided to have a conversation with my boys. So I have two boys and a princess. So the boys decided to ask me some questions about my childhood, and then we could have this chat and also to see what are some of the things I've brought from my childhood that is impacting them positively, and what are some of the experience that we kind of learn from. And so it's more about parenting and how we share our time with our kids and a lot of more as professional people. So that's what is life is about today. So it's a new year talk, but it's this particular inspiration with Dr. Bala is about sharing my childhood memories with my boys. So I'm gonna be having Augustine and awesome live here, and you can follow us. We want many people to come on. You can follow us. You're gonna be following us. They're gonna be asking me questions and about my childhood, and I'll be answering. Also, we will be posting those questions in the chat room. We'd like to hear, what your own interesting childhood memory that you would love to share with your kids. If you already have one, what is it? What is that, very important memory you want your kid? If you don't want you're planning to have one or more of them, what is that childhood memory you would not forget, you would like to share with them for them to learn from? And despite your busy schedule as a professional person, as a doctor, as a nurse, as a health practitioner, what how can you balance your life with your family life and your profession as well? And so there's a lot we can learn from this interview. So we want to welcome you to join us, and we want to say again Happy New Year. So welcome back. Happy New Year from uh, China. I believe, I don't know whether in your location you stay in 2021, but from Guangzhou, China, People Republic of China, Guangzhou, People Republic of China. We already in 2022, couple of hours ago, and it's already May Day, and on January 1, 2022. So I'm still struggling to try to make sure I don't say 2021 because today is the first day of the year. But yes, so we want to say Happy New Year, and you're welcome to join us. We're going to be showing here a live interview with Dr. Bala and his two boys. And the boys going to be asking me some very interesting questions about my childhood memory. And we will be sharing the questions here. You're welcome to join us. You're welcome to follow and see what is the inspiration we can get from sharing our childhood memories with our kids. So you're welcome. my name is Augustine K. Bala Sr. I am the father, the daddy of these two handsome boys, Augustine and Upson. So today we are having daddies and boys talk. So Augustine and Upson are going to be doing some interview and will be asking me questions about my childhood and what are some of the memories. So this New Year day, we just want to chat, and have a wonderful family time. So welcome, Augustine and Awesome.
Welcome, Daddy.
So we like to have you introduce yourself. So Augustine, can you introduce yourself briefly?
My name is Augustine Pala Jr. I'm in the 5th class. I'm 9 years old.
Augustine K. Jr. in the 5th grade, and you are 9 years old. So Awesome, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Awesome Bala. I am 5 years old. I'm in the 1st grade class.
Hey, Awesome K. Bala, and he's 5 years old. He's in the 1st grade. Yeah, so these are my handsome, smart boys. I'm so proud of you guys. You know that Daddy love you, and I'm very proud of you guys. Okay, so I'm happy you want to ask me some interesting question about my childhood. I think that's gonna be inspiration to you as well, and I'm very happy to tell you stories and some important things about the time I was a kid. So, who's going to start? Okay, the floor is yours, Augustine. Start.
What do you remember about the houses you lived in as a kid?
Wow, the houses I lived in as a kid. Well, when I was a kid, I actually was with my grandparents, and we lived in Firestone. So in Firestone, like Habel, uh, we had different category of houses. So there was the one room family house and the OS houses that were like 2 rooms with living room and bathroom, and the MC houses and the CQ houses. The MC and CQ houses were the most beautiful one, big, where you have the senior staff, the superintendents, the managers, the doctors were living. Then the OS houses were much better, like the middle. You have the teachers, other people working in the factory. And then the one room houses, like the K houses, K1, K this and that, where the place you have the unskilled laborers living. So my grandfather was an unskilled laborer. He was not educated. He didn't know how to read and write. So he was a tapper, unskilled laborer. So we lived in the one room houses, in one of the one room houses. And so our house didn't have electricity in. We had electricity on the street, but no electricity was in the house. We didn't have fresh toilet in the house, so we have to use the public latrine. So I didn't really like the one room house for the entire family, but that's what we had. So I promised myself that I was going to study hard and do my best so that when I become an adult, my children will not live in a one room house, so that they can live in, if I go back Firestone, so I can be able to have an MC or CQ house so my children can be happy. Yeah, so that's what I remember about the houses I lived in as a child.
Wow. And I see that you accomplished what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I'm a doctor
What did
now,
you like
and
best?
I really used to love the MC houses and the CQ houses the best. So, but I didn't have that. So many times I went with my friends, my classmates from school. Father, where one of my friends Her father was a superintendent, so they lived in one of the MC houses. They had electricity, they had cool water, they have fresh toilet and everything. And I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. So I used to visit that, their house, and we studied together, do things together. So yeah, I used to really love the MC houses, but I didn't have that. So I wanted to do my best to make sure you have something better like that. And I'm glad that at least you have something like that.
Thanks. Which family member has been your greatest coach in life?
Wow, my greatest coach in life. I would say my grandmother. My grandmother was my greatest coach. Mhm.
Okay. How have she coached you?
Well, I think she was my best friend. She made me to be her best friend. So we were very close friends. She told me everything that I needed to know. She told me stories about when she was a kid. She told me stories about when she was a young girl. She told me stories about how she uh, met my grandfather and how she had my mother. She told me everything I needed to know. And so I was very comfortable with her. She was not just my grandmother, she was my best friend. So I also told her everything that I ever wanted to talk about. So we could say everything to each other, and she could advise me. She could tell me things that I should do, things I shouldn't do, and what was better. So my grandmom was my coach and my best friend. And she coached me by being best friend. Yeah, not just my grandmother.
What made her good at it?
I think she was good at it, mainly because not just because I was her grandson, but because she became my friend. So we went places together. We went to the market together. We went just everywhere she went together. And I was practically her handbag, and I really enjoyed the moment with her. And that what she became very good at it because she didn't just had a grandson, she had a best friend.
Wow. When you were a teenager, which family member did you go to for advice?
Well, I had other family members I could talk to, like my uncles, my aunt, but again, the person I really believe in more, the person I could tell my little secret to was my grandmother. Because like I told you, she was my best friend. So I usually tell her my secret. Even when I was a teenager, my first close female friend from school, I did tell my grandmother that, oh, mom, uh, grandma, I actually had this female friend. We are very close at school. And then she advised me, hey, okay, at this age, you be very careful, boys your age and girls your age, what you need to do, what you shouldn't do, where you need to be, where you shouldn't be. She's your friend, but you guys at this age, a boy and a girl shouldn't be alone in a room, shouldn't do things big boys and big girls are doing. Don't allow any big boy or big girl tell you to do something that is not right. So it's okay, you can have your friend as a female, but just make sure don't allow the big boys and the big girls tell you guys to do things that is not right. And so, yes, she was the one I usually go to for advice, and I trusted her.
What was everything tells your grandmother? Why you did not tell some of your things to your mother and father?
Well, that's a very good one. Actually, I just grew up knowing my grandmother. In fact, I consider my grandmother and my grandfather as my parents. I didn't know that my mother was actually my biological, because I was very young child, like at the age of 2, before 3, when my mother brought me to my grandmother. So later, when I get to know that my grandmother was actually not my biological mother, it was difficult for me to accept. I thought my mother was my older sister. But so because I spent all of my time, I actually sucked my grandmother's breast. So I got glued to my grandmother more than my mother. And so that was, she became my best friend. She was my mother, she was my grandmother, and she was my best friend. I didn't have much access to my father and my mother. So my grandmom was the one who I had more access to. My grandmother and my grandfather.
So, and what advices that your grandmother gave you when you was looking back? Was it a good advice?
Yes, looking back, I think my grandmother already gave me some good advice. Some I didn't like it. Like for example, I had my grandmother actually had me to sleep. She had time for me to study. She had restriction as to which places I could go or not when I was a teenager. When I was in elementary school, she didn't allow me go for school party at night. She didn't allow me go for any big program late in the evening. Every program I went for, she went with me. That means it was in the day, or she has somebody to take me there. And I felt like I wanted to be everywhere. There were times from Monday to Friday, I didn't have that opportunity to go to, because we didn't have TV in our house. So on weekends, we could go to maybe a neighbor house where there is TV to watch show. So, but she couldn't allow me to do that from Monday to Friday, only on Saturday and maybe not Sunday evening, and then Sunday, maybe we could watch a movie. I was not happy, but she felt it was time to study. There was time to go to bed. There was time to study. There was time to be serious. And looking back now, I think these were all good advice. It made me a disciplined child. It made me a good boy, and make me the good father I am today. I think so.
Wow. Wow.
So
What did you have as a child that kids don't have today?
yeah, I think as a child, one of the things I had was the opportunity to be disciplined, and that can, make us to be very respectful. I'll put it that way, because for example, my grandma uh, did allow me to be happy, and she really loved me, but we had time to play. We had time to go to bed. We had time to study. And there was certain program at school as a kid I was not allowed to go to, especially when it was at night, except when she had somebody to take me there. So I didn't just do anything I feel like doing. I was disciplined. And we're very respectful. The fact that grandmom say, the fact that our parents say, the fact that anyone say, don't do this, it's not right. We were not allowed to do it. We didn't challenge, we didn't challenge our senior or older people or our parents or people who were like our parent age. I think nowadays, a lot of kids don't want to be disciplined. They don't want even their teacher to tell them what to do and what not to do. Even their parents, they don't want to listen to what their parents says. And I think we had that. We were disciplined. We were respectful. And these days, it's a challenge for parents. A lot of kids don't listen to people. They are not disciplined. Want to do what they want to do, even if it's not right. I think that's very important to point out.
anything ever has anything ever happened at a family wedding that you never forget?
Wow, welling, family welling. I think welling for me was more about food. So I can remember most of the wedding that I went to, but I think one major thing I can't forget about at the family wedding was the food. There was so many food. Hmm? Yeah, there was so many food. And because there was so many food, so every time I heard there was wedding or family reunion, I was ready to go and eat. So food. Yes. Yeah, there were fun and other things, but I think the food was, as a kid, that was the main thing that came to my mind every time I heard wedding or family reunion. Mhm.
What has you what was your favorite movie or book when you were my age?
Oh, okay, you are 5 years. When I was 5 years old, at that time in Liberia, I think we had this book, Blamando and Conando. Blamando and Conando. It was the Blamando go to school. Come on. So it was my favorite book at your age in the first grade. So at that time, and that was the reading book for first grade, second grade. So the two characters in that book was Blamando and Conando, and it was about they going to school and the school life and everything. That was my favorite book. In fact, the way we used to call it was just Blamando and Conando book. So yes, that was the my favorite reader. Then for movie, you asked my favorite movie. Also at that time, I just used to hear there was this they used to have on Friday evening in Firestone. I was still little, but they used to have this movie. And my uncle took me on the feed several times. They would have this big projector on the feed, and everybody would come to watch the movie. And the only thing I really remember about the movie that got stuck in my head and I could sing the song, and that's the main thing I used to love about the movie was that the son they had this Omen Gonna movie. So he's the actor, he was an actor, so the son in the movie was Omen Gonna come home and he's knocking the door. His wife come in the house and she taking long to open the door. So the music will be playing when it's ready to happen. Pop, 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 who is that? That me. Oh my God, now. I was saying I've been knocking the door. Then, oh God, now. I come in, open the door. Oh, your heart, let me time my life. Let me open the door. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. So up to now, I still remember that lyrics about that movie. So it's just a bit so interesting when Omen Gonna comes to knock the door and Garment Lane to open the door because she has someone else in the house. That was my favorite childhood movie, Omen Gonna and Garment. Mhm. Like
Sorry.
it.
What is the best thing your grandparents ever cooked?
Best thing my grandparents ever cook. The best thing my grandparents ever cook. Well, my grandparents from Lofa, they used to love toboggi. Like my grandfather, he used to dry rice, real oil dry rice. He would put toboggi. Toboggi is like the soda. My grandfather used to eat dry rice, he put toboggi. Potato green rice, he put toboggi. Beans, toboggi. Even if you give him, fried green or gravy, he will put.
How's your parents?
Well, my parents, I didn't spend much time with my mom and my dad as a child. All of my childhood moments were with my grandparents. So I can say a lot about especially my dad. I didn't have a moment with him. Yeah. So I just saw him once, a couple of times. So when I spent some time with my mom, she also used to cook a lot of tteokbokki. So it was not any different from what my grandmom used to cook. Yeah. But I actually didn't spend a lot of time with my mommy and my daddy. I spent a lot of time with my grandmom and my grandfather.
What is the most embarrassing thing your mother or father ever did to you?
Most embarrassing thing. But my father, I didn't spend biological father, I didn't have a lot of time with him. So I can't say they did anything embarrassing to me I can remember. Because I didn't have much time with them. But I had a happy childhood with my grandparents. So
At least you have something.
so I think what you should be doing about that embarrassment, you don't want to be embarrassed, what you should do.
Stop making you angry.
Not just me. Okay, apart from me, has anyone embarrass you?
No,
Okay. So it means you don't make anyone else angry only me.
I can make some other people angry, but nothing else happened to me compared to what happened.
So the other people reactions and my reaction, what's your thought about it?
Your reaction is stronger than the others.
Yeah, so what does that mean to you? What's the message it gave you? Why you think that the reactions can be so high?
I don't know, but most of the time
Mm.
in the family of father, it's almost like the most, I don't know how to call it, but most of the time, even my friends, they say they are afraid of their father more than another person.
Mm. So did you ask them why they're afraid of your father?
No? What three adjectives would your grandparents use to describe you?
All right, three adjectives. Actually, my grandparents were disciplinarians, strong disciplinarians. Like when you do something, they're going to discipline you. So usually my grandmom used to use these couple of words. One, when she's very angry with you if you have done something very wrong, she'll tell you maybe if she's not going to beat you, she'll tell you you pay for what you have done. You will pay for what you have done. I don't know whether I will use that, I will consider that an adjective, but then when she tell you that you're gonna pay for what you're gonna do, then she will use what you do to describe it. Then she ask you. Maybe she said, go and bring water or wash the dishes, and you didn't wash the dishes. She asked you, you think it was right? You said no. Okay, so um, you're gonna pay for what you know you did by not washing the dishes. Should we put the food your food in a dirty pan for you to eat? He said no. I said, okay, if I do that, what does it, if I put your food in a dirty pan for you to eat, what is that? And he said wickedness. He says, so you are wicked, right? So she will use the situation to describe. But there was another way she would, kind of get at us. She'll tell you if you did something good, usually like me, especially like me, I used to do well at school. So she always, the moment she go in for my report card or getting some information from the school, she'll say, my doctor, my smart boy, So I think saying that I was smart always make me feel good. And so she used that, adjective being smart several times. And I think that kind of pushed me to do my best. She was like, oh, I'm gonna kill a chicken for my smart, grandson. I'm going to cook the best spaghetti for my smart, grandson. So she used the word smart several times to describe me. But of course, if I did something bad, she will, use the adjectives like the negative. She will use the negative, in the things that I did to also describe me, right? Maybe she was like, oh, this you did was stupid, so don't be stupid, this you did was wicked, so don't be wicked. So she will use the word stupid and wicked, but not directly describing me, but describing the things that I did, for me to not do it again. But yes, if I did stupid things, she would tell me this was very stupid and don't be stupid. This was very wicked and don't be wicked. And of course, you're smart. So yeah, I think I heard stupid, wicked, smart.
Now I'm going to pause and let my little brother to take over.
Okay.
Did your parents grandparents ever lost their job?
My grandparents didn't. Especially my grandfather, he didn't lose his job, but he got retired. So there was a point in his life that he was not working. Yes.
What happened?
So, and when my grandfather got retired and he was not working in Firestone, I couldn't go to the school anymore because my grandfather was not working for the company, so I couldn't go to the school, and we couldn't live in the company house, even though it was one room, but we couldn't live there anymore. So we have to move out. So we went. My grandparents took us, me, my grandmother, my grandfather, and my aunt. But she was much younger. Yes, so I was older than her, but I was the last child from my grandparents, so she was my aunt. And we went to Lofa. We went back home, and spent 1 year, and then later came back, and my grandmother started to do business, and my grandfather could still get his retirement benefit, and that's how they were surviving. Yeah.
How did they start over?
Yeah, so like I said, starting over was like my grandmother started to do business. She goes and buy oil and buy different things and come back to Habel and then sell. So my grandmother started to do business, and my grandfather could get his retirement benefit, and that's how we started making new life.
You both were living.
Come again?
Where you was living?
Oh, we were living in Habel. So when my grandfather got retired, we went to Lofa. We went to Kolahu. We lived there for 1 year, and then we came back again to Firestone. So when we came back, my uncle started to work for Firestone already. So my uncle was working for Firestone. So we had an extension on my uncle's house, and there where my grandparents were living. So we came back to Firestone in Habel to live.
How are you most different from your parents and grandparents?
Well, I am different from them in the context because my grandparents they were traditional people. They didn't go to church. In fact, my grandmother, it was on her sick bed a few weeks before she died that she gave her life to Jesus. When my mother was by her and taking care of her, my mother was able to lead her to Christ finally, few weeks before she died. So, but all her life, she did not believe in Jesus. She did not go to church. Yeah, she could talk about God business, but she did not. She was not a believer until on her dying bed before she gave her life to Jesus. And I think even my grandfather, he was not. He was more traditional person. He was not a kind of church person. So I think it's in that context, I'm quite different from them because uh, at the very early age, and that was the only part that deferred from them. That was the only thing that I disobeyed my grandparents about going to church, believing in God. But every other thing were on path. So I'm different from them in that context because I gave my life to Jesus at the age of 14, and I yes, being into church and believe in God. Yes, I know I'm an African, I'm a traditional person, but I'm more Christian and I believe in God. And my whole heart, my entire life, I want to work for God until if I'm going to get old and then I want to spend most of my life preaching and serving God and doing things for God, spending most of my time in the church, work. So my grandparents were not like that. So I'm quite different from them in that context. My God business, I'll put it that way. And their God business still.
That's why you're pastor.
And that was your pastor son. Yeah. So that's how I'm different.
How
And
are
more,
you the same?
oh, how am I the same? Yeah, I think we are the same in a context. My grandparents were disciplinarian. They didn't take you know discipline lightly. They they use the raw to correct us. So they picked me when I did wrong. They put me under the bed. Yeah, they discipline me. So, and I think I build that same concept. I believe in discipline. So I think I'm a kind of disciplinarian. You guys can agree with me. I don't uh, take it easy if you don't want to be strict. I use the rod. So my grandparents are like that. So I think I'm like them too in that context. I'm a disciplinarian. So I don't take, lightly. I believe in the human rights, child rights. Fine, that's good. But I also believe in the principle of the Bible that say don't spare the rod and spoil the child. I believe in the principle of the Bible that says that you should train up the child in the way when he goes, he will not depart from it. I believe in the principle of the Bible that says that you should use the rod to cast the devil from your child. You train them. So I'm a disciplinarian. So I'm not going to harm you. I'm not going to beat my child until they're not able to walk or cripple them. No, but I will, if you do something wrong, I'm going to whip you so you can feel it and know what you did is wrong so you don't do it again. I will discipline my children so they can grow up and be good boys and good girls. So anyone connected to me, I follow discipline. And I think my grandparents were like that. I took that from them and I think that is seen in that context. My grandparents were also strong people, very determined. In how much they were not educated, but they were smart and hardworking people. They actually got anything they put their mind to. And I think I learned that from them. And I'm not boasting about my hard work, but I think when I put my mind to something and I want to do it, I can put my everything and be able to do it. So in that context, discipline, commitment, determination, I'm like my grandparents. Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. What was the hardest thing you went through as a child?
Well, the hardest thing I went through as a child was I know my grandparents really love me. My grandparents give me their best. They tried to do everything in their effort, apply their effort to give me the education that they didn't have. But I think growing up as a child and with your grandparents was amazing though, but it was a time that I like my mom and my should have been responsible for me. They should have, done their best and create the environment and giving like my friends. I saw my friends with their mom and dad. I saw my friends who mom and dad were teachers, were different, professional people, and they talk about their mom and their dad. And I didn't have that privilege to talk a lot about my mom and my dad. Everything was my grandmom and my grandfather. So, well, it's not because I was not having a happy childhood moment, but I just felt that mommy and daddy moment was something that I needed too. Even though I wanted to have my mom and my dad, and I wanted to have my grandma and my grandpa, but I only have my grandparents. I didn't have that, mommy and daddy environment to talk to play the mommy and daddy thing. So all that I had was grandmom and grandpa, childhood moment. So that was little hard for me. With my friends, they talk about their dad and their mom. I talk about my grandmom and my grandfather. So I think you even asked me why everything is your grandmom and your grandfather, because they were the people that I had. So I can't really say a lot about my childhood, about my mom and my dad, because they were never around. And not because probably they didn't want to, but I think that's something I was robbed of. I didn't have the opportunity to grow up with mommy and daddy driving me to school, taking me to the bakery, taking me to the supermarket, taking me to my school program that you guys have. And it was grandma and grandfather. So that was the hardest moment for me too. When people talk about their mom and dad, I didn't have much to say.
How did you overcome it?
Well, I think I overcome that with my grandparents' love. So I said to myself, well, I have all the love that I could get from my mom and my dad, my grandfather and my grandmother are giving me that. So why should I worry? So I think that's gonna just make me feel good. And I just have to forget about it. Like, okay, not everyone have to grow up with mommy and daddy. Some people grow up with grandma and grandpa. So, and in fact, I accepted my grandmother as my mother. So I never used to call my grandma. I used to call her mommy. And I never used to call my grandfather. I used to call him daddy. So it was, yeah, in my mind, they were my grandparents, but in reality, they were my parents. And so that's how I get over that.
If you could go back to one day in your childhood, which day would that be?
Oh, Christmas. Christmas. You know why? Even though my grandparents were not, church going, Bible believing Christians, but yes, Christmas was an amazing time for us. So grandma and grandpa will usually buy our Christmas things, Christmas clothes, new shoe, new everything, and keep it. We will not wear it. We will not see it on the Christmas morning. And then we were, oh, surprise. So we have our surprise Christmas clothes, surprise Christmas shoe, surprise Christmas gift. And so on Christmas Day, we were brand new and we have a lot of food to eat. And we could go around to our uncles, our neighbors to ask for Christmas. And so Christmas was the day in my childhood we always looked forward to because it was the day we had new things and we had a lot of food to eat and we have a lot of money because people give us money for Christmas. So yeah, Christmas.
We like Christmas, but the only thing that is different from it, I don't go around the actual Christmas.
But so what's the scene about what I explained about my Christmas and your Christmas? Is there anything similar about it?
Yeah,
What?
I wear new shoes and a lot of food to eat.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay. What are your favorite stories that grandpa or grandma told or still tells?
Well, my favorite story, there is this story grandpa told me. I usually I can't forget, but that story was like a bedtime story for us. Yeah, and I think I told you guys the story before. Pakeya, Pakeya, Pakeya. Can you remember that story, Augustine?
Yeah.
You can remember Pakeya, Pakeya story?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you remember the story? Yeah. So that was actually we used to have bedtime story. My grandparents were not uh, people who knew how to read and write, but they were ready. We were already a happy family, right? So we have bedtime story. Yeah. So we didn't have to be on our phone playing games, and we didn't have phones those at that time. Yeah. So but at that time, either grandmom or grandpa would tell stories, either in Bandi or usually. In fact, we didn't know Lofa, but we knew how to speak our dialect because grandmom and grandpa taught us stories and a lot of things in Bandi, taught us our dialect, how to speak. So we have bedtime story. And so the story I told you guys about Paki here was actually my favorite bedtime story that grandpa used to say, and then we go to bed. So he told me that story. Yeah. And the story, maybe for others to hear, it was more like the king who has his beautiful daughter, and he said, anyone who wants to marry his daughter has to do certain things. And the things he wanted them to do, if they pass, then they can marry his daughter, the princess. And one of the things was to eat a top full of pepper, and you don't have to say, shh. If you do that, they will kill you. And then the next thing, when you finish eating the top full of pepper, the spices, then they will put you into a room with mosquitoes. And you don't have to kill any of the mosquitoes. If you kill any of the mosquitoes, it will kill you. After that, they will take you to the restroom for you to toilet. And when you toileting, you don't say, If you just scream, it will kill you. So a lot of people went and they couldn't succeed just from the top of pepper. The moment they take a couple of spoons, the pepper start to burn, then it will say, and it will kill them. So a lot of people were dying. And this smart guy decided that he would go and be able to marry the king's daughter. So he went, his mother advised him, he said he know what to do. So when he went to eat the pepper, and they brought the pepper, the top of pepper, he told the king, I can eat the pepper, but we gotta be lecturing. So when he eating the pepper, eating the pepper, eating the pepper, and the pepper started to burn, then he said, King, 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 king. Well, coming, and the roll, he started explaining because he was lecturing with the king. So the king was like, but you blowing? He said, no, I'm not blowing, I'm explaining to you. He added his stammer, and then he would say, you know, no, coming. He was doing that, he ate all the pepper. So he went to the toilet. They put him in the toilet for him to toilet. So when he had to scream, then he said, oh, you know, King, I told you I love talking. We're gonna be talking while I'm going through this whole thing. When I was coming, my mother actually cooked a very nice food for me. And she told me that this will make me to marry your daughter. But the food was so sweet. It was so sweet. And he told it. So they could not, differentiate the emphasis from the screening. So they couldn't do nothing to him. Then the final one now, the king said they won, we're gonna catch this guy. He went to the room. They placed him in that room with a lot of mosquitoes. So, and then he would be like, when the mosquito bite, he said, oh, I actually have a suit. This is my magic suit. That suit, if I wear it and come here, nothing I cannot do. This suit, I should describe it to you guys. King, this suit, get pocket here, pocket here, pocket here, pocket here, pocket here. So everywhere the mosquito bite him, pocket was there. If the mosquito bite him on his jaw, pocket here. If the mosquito bite him on his chest, pocket here, pocket here. And he was killing the mosquito, pocket here, pocket here, pocket here, until the time of over, and he got out of the dark room. And that's how he married the king's daughter. So the message was that no matter how difficult any situation is, when you apply wisdom, when you smart, you can be able to get through. So the guy was just using common sense. Pocket here, pocket here, pocket. You can say he carried mosquito, he's describing his clothes. Pocket here, pocket here. So that was my favorite story. Favorite bedtime story. Yeah, but there were many other stories Grandpa used to tell me. A lot of traditional story about kings, the power the kings had and the different things, the different records that they used to have for people to marry their daughter. And yeah, that was just a lot of old goody stories.
Okay. Tell me a story about a family reunion or family party that you remember attending as a child.
Well, I told you my grandfather got retired. So when grandpa got retired in Firestone, at the time I was 16, 17, and he decided that we didn't know our home. He was taking us home before we can come back to settle or do whatever he felt. After so many years working in Firestone, he wanted to take his grandchildren and he wanted to go back home. So when we went home, it was my first time going to Lofa. It was my first time going to the village. So it was a great reunion because I had the opportunity to go to Awesome Street. I had the opportunity to go to my grandmother home, my grandmother village, Kolehua. I had the opportunity to go to my grandfather village, Bolahu. I had the opportunity to go to my maternal grandfather village, called Kweke Lahun. Then I went to my father village, my biological father village, Fasavolu. I went to where my mother was in Bakana. So I didn't know any of those villages, but that was an opportunity. My grandmother and grandfather and I had the opportunity, like 2 weeks, we're traveling from village to my grandmom village, my grandpa village, my father village, and just going from village to village to go and see family. And every time we reach, there were a couple of things that were really interesting. Because my grandmother hasn't gone home for years, so it was like a tradition. All the people that died when she was away, when she entering the village, she had to cry, for them to mourn for them. So we'll be lecturing. As soon we are about to enter the village, then grandma will say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to mourn and cry, so people can know her, right?" So she will tie her, hit her very good, and tie her waist, and then she will start to cry. She will cry like the person just died, and she will cry. Everybody will come, at the edge of the village to welcome her and take her home, and then she will cry, and then they will tell her sorry for all the people that had died maybe 5 years, 10 years ago. She never came to the village. She cried for them, and then they tell her sorry. Then before, they welcome her, and then we start to talk, and they bring food, we eat and everything. So every village we enter, grandma will prepare to cry and mourn for the people that died, absent. So it was just like okay, something very interesting to me. The moment we are about to reach, the moment I see grandmom getting prepared to cry, I know we are about to enter the village. She will cry. So, and of course, the reunion, when we get to the house, every family member in the entire village, everyone will bring food. So the room will be filled with food. If we were just there for 2 days, there will be a lot of food. So yes, I can't forget that 2 weeks tour from village to village. That when I got to know my father village, my grandmom village, my grandfather village. And it was an amazing time back home in Lofa. I hope I will have the opportunity to take you guys there. Do you want to go to Lofa and see your villages?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should make a trip sometimes too. Yeah. But for me, I don't think I will go crying like your grandmom. Yeah, but I think we should go to the village someday so you can know your grandma village, your grandfather village. Yeah. But it was a great family reunion when we went back home. When I went back home with my grandparents. That was 1999. John?
No.
Okay. So any last word, any goodbye? Any goodbye message? Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Augustine, twice. Any goodbye message?
Yeah. I want to say thank you for the interview. I wish you got to know some things about you. Me too.
Okay. Thank you too for asking me all of the questions. And I hope, I know we spend time, but sometimes it's good to have daddy and the boys talk, just practical, right? And talk about some things that we want to know and learn from it, right? Yes. So thank you too for the interview. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. So thank you for watching. That's how we decided to spend our New Year. Have a conversation with the boys, and yeah, I think it say a lot about parenting, and there are different type of parenting. I don't know which one to use, how you deal with that, but I think we should have time with the kids. We should be able to talk to our kids, and sometimes share our own uh, memories with them, a lot of things that they could learn from. So before I close in this live, I want to talk a little bit about parenting, and I don't know which one some of you are using, and maybe probably you don't even know which one you're using. You're just doing everything the way you're doing it, but I think it's very good as basic professional people as we pay attention to our life and pay attention to our career. We should also pay attention to our kids, right? If you don't have 1 year, you need to prepare for that as well, because I think that's the greater legacy you're gonna leave on life, right? You should impact the next generation. You are here because somebody impacted you, somebody guided you, and so we think that is very very important. So as we celebrate the new year, we want to say to spend time with the kids too, and let's talk to them. There are different ways parents kind of go on during parenting. You 18. So it goes up to 25, 26. So that means that up to 25, 26, your ability to make concrete decision is not even yet solid. Okay. So you'll be like, what? Yes. So you still need guidance, you still need a lot of advice, you still need to listen to people who are experienced, who have more knowledge and wisdom than you are. Up to 25. Yes, because the limbic system is still developing up to 25, 26. So if you're 24, 23 and you think, well, I crossed 18 anymore, I don't need to listen to my parents, I don't need to listen to people with wisdom, then you are already in danger because your limbic system is not even fully developed yet. Yes, you are anything above, you are mature, but you still have your the part of your brain responsible for decision making is still even developing. So talk less about less than anything. So many parents will use the authoritarian parenting, like this is what I want you to do, and that's what you're gonna do. So at 18, some people less than that maybe because some children now they are much mature than their age, maybe 15, 14, 15, they will change it to the authoritative. That's where the rules is there, the expectation is there, then we discuss what you think about the rules, what you think about the expectation. Can you kind of do that? So my son Augustine is 9. I'm still in the authoritarian state with him, right? And he's a guy with energy. He's like want to do everything his will, and I feel for his mom because she spent a lot of time there, and he's very hard. So I hope that maybe by 14, 15, we can switch to the authoritative one. That's what we started, right? We can start having conversation. What you think, right? Do you think this is right? Do you think this is wrong? And I respect your social and emotional needs, but you think this is right? Can we do it this way? And so these are very important things. I know as professional people, we get so busy, we are impacting many other people's life who forget about our own children in our house. So you found, even in the church leaders, you found pastors and bishops and spiritual leaders whose children are completely messed because they didn't have much time paying attention to the kids at home. And like I said, it's not something just physically present, it's how involved you are with your life. And it's not just sometimes paying the school fee, but do you follow up even at the school? How are they performing? Do you have rules as to how they should develop, right? And that is very, very important. They are gifts, and God has entrusted them to us, and it's our responsibility to make sure that they grow and develop and fulfill destiny at God's reach. So thank you for watching this live, and thank you for watching the interview with me and the boys and Augustine and Awesome. We hope to see you another time. Happy New Year to you.